First thing we're going to go over is the question that Eli had asked, which was,
I had said, how should you view situations in our day-to-day life, like at work or just like when you're on a walk, like as opportunities to put it into content? Like if you're struggling with something, like or like I don't know, say you tripped, like how can you apply that into your own
yeah,
life? Coaches
for sure.
train, and then how to double down on making our own content different from other coaches to make us stand out. Like when it comes to I don't know, like Alex has his version of like captions on screen. You got your version, Nigel, of like like being really strong, like super like high energy and
You know, the thing that makes us unique is our testimony. It's the variable that separates us from every other individual, right? Because when you think about it, all the value that we put out is regurgitated value that we got from somewhere else. Like all the value is already out there, right? There's different fonts, people talk differently, they have different accents, but at the end of the day, the value that we're putting out is all the same.
Like how Nigel told me and Adrian, how each individual, all the coaches, what makes us different is literally us. We are all different. We all different. We have our own voice. You have your own personality, and show yourself through the screen and how you're going to be different, stand out as a coach, right?
Everyone has their own way of delivering value, and the way I do it, and something that you can look at me and call a USP is the fact that, bro, there's not a part of business that I don't tie to faith. Like if you look at all my videos, like I never just give business value. It's always business and faith value, bro. Straying off a little bit, but your testimony is what makes you unique. And we're going to jump into this Miro that I made. And then at the end of it, I'm going to show you how I tie this into my stories. Actually, the story that I have up today, I do it every single day when I go to the gym. And it's going to go over the authority building as well. But first we have observe, reflect, position, then share. The positioning part is where you actually gain your authority. The observing part is where you're identifying whatever situation, whatever circumstance it is. So it says, pay close attention to the real moments in your day. You know, your workout win, a challenge, a client breakthrough can be one as well, or even a small habit that you noticed started to rise. These raw experiences are seeds for content. So, bro, quite frankly, this list is very vague compared to where you can take it. We have 7,000 thoughts run through our head each and every single day, bro. Right? All you need to do is isolate one thought, one challenge that you overcame, right? And then after we isolate that, right, we're going to take it over to reflect. And reflecting is where we're going to pull out the deeper meaning, the underlying message behind that moment. And we're going to ask ourselves, what did this teach me about discipline, growth, fitness, or life? Reflection transform your everyday into lessons people can actually relate to. And I love that you asked this question, because one thing I noticed is people trying to materialize content ideas like out of thin air, like literally materialize content ideas, when they got to understand those materialized content ideas, they're not going to resonate with anyone.
What do you mean materialize? Like
materialize out of nothing, out of thin air, in the sense of like they're just thinking about what people would want to hear, rather than taking things they've been through, rather than taking things they're going through currently and creating content of those things. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And this is also what happens with ChatGPT. Like I would say to a certain extent, it's like trying to materialize things out of thin air when you have your whole testimony to look back on, not only your own testimony, but what you're going through currently, right? The challenge, the obstacles that you're facing right in your present, and how you're dealing with that. So anyways, let's run through this whole thing and then we can talk about that. But observe, then reflect, and then now positioning. Now we're going to frame the lesson in a way that shows you've been there, you've learned from it, and now you can lead others through it. This is the authority building part that a lot of people miss, right? A lot of people just talk about the moment, their thought process on it, and they just leave it like that. But now we need to actually position ourselves as an authority figure. So we're going to position yourself as an authority by turning your personal insight into a principle your audience can trust. And when you guys aren't going to really take this in until I show you the example that I'm going to give you, that's actually on my story right now. And then lastly, fourth, we're going to deliver a story that's simple and direct to actually give the audience a better idea and a clear takeaway, right? That not only inspires, but makes them look at you as a go-to coach, right? Because now you're taking practical, like events that are happening in your current life, events that they're going to go through, right? And you're showing them how to put it into practice. And I'm going to show you how, because once you watch the story that I'm going to pull up right now, I'm going to share, and I hope the audio works. I'm pretty sure you guys will be here. Hear it. This one right here.
Oh,
Can you guys hear it? Can you guys hear it?
The spirit is willing. But I think about that scripture all the time. And as you guys seen, last night was a late night, 2 a.m. I didn't change it.
I took the moment, right? I took the moment right then and there. And the story prior to this was obviously me grinding at 2 a.m. If you guys saw my story, you've seen it.
The fact that we woke up at 5:30 today to do what needs to be done, right? And in times where it requires extreme resilience, another level of discipline, it's so important to understand that it starts with feeding your spirit. Right? There's going to be nights that require you to stay up late and pour into your business the way you need to. There's going to be nights where your flesh doesn't want to open the word, but your spirit is calling to. Right? And ultimately, the more you feed your spirit, the more you realize that you just have more to give.
Right? And that in itself gives them a takeaway from my real life experience, which is basically like Jesus when he tells a parable. Like I just took my story. I'll play it again. You guys can watch it again, but with this framework beside it, and you guys can try and pick it apart while I get the next story.
The flesh is weak, but the spirit is willing. But I think about that scripture all the time. And as you guys seen, last night was a late night, 2 a.m. It didn't change the fact that we woke up at 5:30 today to do what needs to be done. Right? And in times where it requires extreme resilience, another level of discipline, it's so important to understand that it starts with feeding your spirit. Right? There's going to be nights that require you to stay up late and pour into your business the way you need to. There's going to be nights where your flesh doesn't want to open the word, but your spirit is calling to. Right? And ultimately, the more you feed your spirit, the more you realize that you just have more to give.
This is the next story that's like right after it.
You know you have more to give. You know for a fact you have more to give. But the reason you haven't accessed that level of discipline yet is because you don't understand the power that lies in the truth and what God says about you. Right? And by feeding your spirit comes with more understanding of that power, of that authority that God actually gives us in our lives. And that's the authority that allows you to overcome those situations where your flesh screams out. You're tired, you need sleep. You're not good enough. If you're not built up in the spirit and acquainted with the truth, you falter every single time your flesh cries out.
Like I went to the point of even like taking things that might even be like thoughts that are running through their head.
You're tired, you need sleep.
And this is, you got to understand the time of this too. I was posting this at like, what it was like 6 a.m. or 6:30 a.m. Right? So.
You're not good enough. If you're not built up in the spirit and acquainted with the truth, you falter every single time your flesh cries out.
I see your guys' stories and I see the value, most definitely, but for that value to stick, it needs to be delivered in a good way, to be honest. Like it's like going to church and, you know, the message is good, but maybe the pastor didn't deliver it in a manner where it actually was susceptible to your heart. You know what I'm trying to say? And you really left different. Framework is going to really help you guys out in that sense of like actually packaging your stories in a manner where it's like the value that you're given is actually being retained and like embedded in their soul,
right.
You know, in their spirit.
Yeah, no, this framework is really good. I'm like, I really like it.
And the same thing you can apply to your content. It just looks different, but the fundamentals are the same.
And the second story you showed, did it still start off with the observe?
It was more so elaborating, if anything, I would say. But we can watch it again. You want to watch both again in order? Maybe?
Yeah.
The flesh is weak, but the spirit is willing. But I think about that scripture all the time. And as you guys seen, last night was a late night, 2 a.m.
Like right there, that's
It's the
observe. Yeah.
fact that we woke up at 5:30 today to do what needs to be done. Right? And in times where it requires extreme resilience, another level of discipline,
Reflect.
it's so important to understand that it starts with feeding your spirit. Right? There's going to be nights that require you to stay up late and pour into your business the way
In
you need to.
position. Yep.
There's going to be nights where your flesh doesn't want to open the word, but your spirit is calling to. Right? And ultimately, the more you feed your spirit, the more you realize that you just have more to give.
Clear takeaway. See how I ended with a clear takeaway? This is almost like going back to the positioning now. I didn't really have to make this the second one, but I did to just further the point. But that end was a clear takeaway, which is the share part. But
You
let's
know you have more to give. You know for a fact you have more to give. But the reason you haven't accessed that level of discipline yet is because you don't understand the power that lies in the truth and what God says about you. Right? And by feeding your spirit comes with more understanding of that power, of that authority that God actually gives us in our lives. And that's the authority that allows you to overcome those situations where your flesh screams out, you're tired, you need sleep, you're not good enough. If you're not built up in the spirit and acquainted with the truth, you falter every single time your flesh cries out.
after watching that again, I honestly take them through the whole thing again.
Yeah.
Right? I basically take them the way I would break it down is I took them through a journey when it comes to breaking their flesh, and I brought them through the whole thing. And then when they were done going through that whole thing, I grabbed them again and I pulled them through the whole sequence again to even reach a deeper level. So I went from here with them. They started here. I brought them to here with the first story. I grabbed them from here and I pulled them even deeper for an even deeper message, you know?
I see. Like you elaborated, I feel like on the share and position a little bit more. Like
Yeah, for sure.
I like this a lot.
But
that's for IG stories, IG reels.
Yeah. IG stories, IG reels, like basically this framework works for everything.
Yeah.
I honestly would take these fundamentals, this way of thinking, like the way that you're taking a real life event, and like I would take and use this framework for the reels that you're putting out to build more personability, where you're talking about like things you're actually going through. You'll have videos where it's about more so tapping into your past, more or less. But when it comes to those present tense videos, this is what you want to carry out.